Hey YouTube. So this is kind of a channel update, a bit of a project update, shall we say. So if you watch the channel and actually watch it, you know about the Beijing Banshee, the 45cc saw that I bought from Princess Auto. It's weird. That's good. Anyways, so if you look back in the videos, I replaced the cylinder. This is the original cylinder. And the cylinder I got had dual transfers. This one is cool. This one actually seems higher quality because of the fins on top. Now the other one doesn't. It's more like this guy. This is 45. Sorry, almost fell off the stool. Hide my boobs. Anyways, it's more like this, cheaper, and is a cheaper version with the dual transfers. This thing has shitty compression. This is basically garbage. This is gonna be like practice to putting in the lathe. But anyways, back to the task at hand. So the cylinder in the Beijing Banshee doesn't have these. You see that? Maybe. Let me finger that a little bit more. Oh yeah, fingers go right in there. It's these tiny little exhaust port. And if you compare it to the other ones that are not the ones that have the catalytic muffler, these are tiny. So even though it's a shitty cylinder with the dual transfers, the cylinder that's in the Beijing Banshee right now, I poured it, raised the exhaust height a little bit. I want to do a little more. I'm not going to do that cylinder because dual transfers, and I'm sure these quad transfers work better because just that little fin in there directs the charge a little bit better. So I'm going to work on this cylinder. There's a lot of work to do on this exhaust port, like a shit ton. If you look at my video between the differences, yeah. And because it's so small, I'm actually going to have to get a timing wheel. I'm going to have to succumb to just like not my hack way of port timing. I'm actually going to get a degree wheel and actually time this properly. I don't want to go for it. Like, I might actually ask an office lumberjack for some advice because he ported that Weimars, and he might have some advice for me on that. I know he went, I think, too low with the, I think the intake than his target. But anyways, I might ask him for some advice. Although the thing about this port, the exhaust roof actually looks pretty parallel with the top of the exit, so I might just have to do side-to-side work. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But I'm gonna time it either way. I can print off a timing wheel and make. I've got a drill chuck at work and do the drill chuck thing, but it's not a big deal. It's just degree wheel. There's not rocket science about fucking getting port timing. I'm sorry, there isn't. It's just fucking degree wheel. You take a piece of welding rod, make it. But anyways, I haven't done that because I've never had the need to, because I've never wanted to push the saw that far. But with these Chinese saws, I'm kind of getting to that point where I actually want to push the saws a little more. And why not? They're cheap. If I completely fuck this up, I spend $20 Canadian, get a whole new piston and cylinder with rings and rod bearing. Like, it's fucked up. It's stupid cheap fun. Chinese saws are cheap, good fun. But yeah, that's the port. That's the plan with the Beijing Banshee. I actually thought about putting the 45mm cylinder up, but I kind of want to keep it a 45cc saw, just to say it's safe. Look at this 45cc saw, pulling chain like a motherfucker, right? Like, it's. I mean, so I watched an office lumberjack, and he went into that whole thing about vintage saws not pulling as well as new saws, and I fucking love that because I love old home lights. I'm a home light fucking fiend. I'm swimming in home lights, and I love them. I'll cut with them, but I can't bring myself to port them because, you know what? They are old motherfucking saws. They have casting issues. There's fucking corrosion. There's all kinds of things that affect a saw and magnesium casings over fucking 40, 50 fucking years. And not only that, like, Novice Lumberjack brought that up with like the needle bearings in the rod, And you know what? I love home lights, but needle bearings and taking a rod off are my fucking nemesis. I fucking hate that. My fat little finger, well, fat big fingers. Um, I just can't put that shit back together. So I'll avoid that at all costs, having to deal with the fucking needle bearings because they're fucking stupid. Like, what a stupid design. Um, Whereas they get modern saws, the rod's connected. You got a bad rod bearing on the crankshaft, get a whole new crankshaft rod assembly. Because most modern saws, you can find those pretty fucking cheap. Then you take home lights. There was a guy. There was a guy. There was a guy on the home light page that was porting an XL12, an XL fucking 12, and he was trying to lighten the rod, lighten the piston. But the whole big problem is, so I mean, home lights are in complete loss. Just give me a sec here. So this is a crankshaft from a home light Super XL. This is the PTO side bearing. It's a big ass bulky roller bearing, and it's strong as fuck. Unless you run the saw dry, even being 50 years old, you're unlikely to fuck this up. So the XL12, visually almost the same saw. PTO side bearing on a Super XL, PTO bearing on an XL12. So never port an XL12 because that's the PTO bearing. The crank's flywheel side is the same bullshit as this. Like, look at that. Like, really, PTO. That's the bar side. If you don't know power takeoff, the clutch side. Super XL, XL12, Super XL. Why would you fucking port an XL12 when that's the bearing on the output side? Like that's fucking stupid. I love XL12s. I seriously do. I have some really nice examples here. I love cutting with them. But they're not a hot rod. They're just a little fucking in the cut, 6,000 RPMs or some stupid shit like that. But you get some of the more modern designs. Got all kinds of bearings here. You get to like the super easies that have a little better bearings. Not much better, but yeah. So why would you port an old home light? Say you can. Maybe. I wouldn't. I love my old home lights. Like you take a look at this little bastard. This is about 71 Terry built XL12. So with the stenciling left on the bar, like this is a beautiful fucking saw. Have a cut with this? Fuck yeah. I'll take it out. Not as my main saw, but it's fun to, especially when you're camping and like pull out something like this. It's just people are like, what the fuck's that? That's fucking crazy. What the fuck's that guy doing? But that's half the fun of having old saws, because people pull them out, and they're cutting with their little fucking Poulin 3314s and shit like that, like, where it's like, oh, I bought my saw at Canadian Tire. Yeah, well, my saw I bought for $20 off fucking Kijiji or Marketplace, and place the fuel lines, and it fucking pulls chain like crazy. It does what it's meant to do, and does it probably not as well as it was new, but still, like, I don't know, it's... But, like Bodhi said, there are a lot of stupid people. I encountered one guy, I think his name was, I don't know how to say his name, but anyways, on Home Light Forum, and he would post pictures of, like, Super XL, oh, just had this come back from the machine shop, repaired it, it's all good, and he claimed that he was a logger, and he loved logging with his Home Light Super XL. It was a red one, so it was, after 73. So, fairly new, I guess. They made those things up until the 90s. But he kept saying, oh, this thing fucking rips so well. And I'm like, I mean, I like Super XLs, but they're a dinosaur. The vibrations don't rattle me because I work in the metal industry, so I mean, like, using handy grinders all the time, so I'm used to that shit, but I mean, modern saws, like, I think the first modern saw I owned was a Husqvarna 272 XP. I bought it used. I basically got free. That's a long story, but what a fucking awesome saw. 272 XP with 24-inch bar, full chisel chain through the softwood here in Alberta. That thing was a fucking animal. Great fucking saw. I mean, home lights, like I said, I love them, but they are dinosaurs. You get some of the newer ones, like, I shouldn't say that, because I think Bodie, Novice Lumberjack, went into that quite a bit, where, as fun as they are, they are, you know, I think, like, even the Homelight XL76 is the maximum no load RPM, I think, is 11.5, I think. If that, might be less. But, they're slow. These Chinese saws, except the EPA ones, like I have this guy right here, this Pro Yama thing. I haven't run this. I'm not even bringing this weekend because I like the look of this saw. So I wait until I get a proper muffler, get rid of this fucking Cadillac converter muffler, and then I'm gonna take it apart. I can take the base gasket out, raise the exhaust roof a little bit. Normal stuff, simple stuff. But it's, I don't know, it's people are retarded, and I think like Bodie said, the whole Bucking Billy Ray thing, and then there's Tasman and stuff like that, and then you get so here's the thing: you get Smitty that's porting home lights and older saws. He's doing a good job, and he's having fun doing it, which is awesome. Then you get Tin Man, where he's doing some of the older home lights, but that's not where he started. He started hot rodding things like John Cervids, good Husker harness, and you see them on his channel, and they fucking rip. I think with him, because he dealt with all these new saws, and he still is, he kind of he knows how to do that, so he's trying to challenge himself by fucking with these old saws. He's a tin basher just like me, only I do custom metal. I think he does like HVAC crap. But anyways, I don't know, it's, why port an old saw? Like, what do I have here? I got that, I have a lot of saws in the shed, like, I don't have many in the house. Got that Super XL30, I got that light new XL12. There's a XL76 on the floor, gun cabinet, shit all over the place because this place is a disaster. But I love my home lights. I fucking love them. But this weekend, I'm going to actually do some serious cutting, getting some roundwood so I can mill. So I'm actually taking Chinese saws, because you can say Chinese saws are all shit, but one of these 50cc Chinese saws will outshine an XL76 all fucking day long. All fucking day long. Especially the ones I have, because the gasket will leak and shit like that. But that's what I'm going to take. I'm going to take some home lights, because I'm taking like 10 saws camping, or logging this weekend. And so you see a lot of cutting action, but that's all good. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to finish my beer, go watch some shitty TV with the wife, and probably be in bed by 9:30, because I'm almost 42 and I feel old as shit because work is beating the crap out of me. Take it easy, YouTube.